Hey, and we are back. So, social listening. I, in layman's terms, social listening is going out there in the world of social media and listening to what people are saying. Listen to the questions they're asking. So, for argument's sake, I just googled social listening, right? Here you automatically a social listening tool comes up. No, what does it do? It's tracking for hashtags. So you know how people use hashtags to do searches or hashtag this, hashtag that. You have to know how to use the appropriate hashtags when you are doing ads. So for instance, or any form of social media. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. But the more effective you are with just maybe four, five, six hashtags that are very targeted and specific to what you are talking about, the higher the chances are that you're going to pop up in a search bar on Facebook, a search bar on YouTube, a search bar on Instagram. All right. So let's get into um let's see, Hootsuite gives you a good idea. Let's run through what Hootsuite is saying. What is social listening? Why it matters, and 10 tools to make it easier. So let's run through this article real quick. Social listening is the process of monitoring social media channels for mentions of your brand, competitors, products, and more. So, social listening gives brands an opportunity to track, analyze, and respond to conversations about them on social media. It's also a crucial component of audience research. So we are not really doing the side of we're not at the part about where we're looking for if people are talking about us. So for instance, if you want to know if people are you work for Magnum, you're on the social media team for Magnum, or any company, and you want to know what are people saying about this company, what are they hashtagging this company saying, you type in company name in the search bars and see what comes up. Customer complaints. Sometimes you have complaints for your service providers. You may say hashtag this service provider. Their name is horrible or is terrible or never again. What are people saying about your brand? What's the conversations that you can go into know and start talking to people and start getting people back on your side if it's a bad message, a bad post, or a bad review. Now, that's not the side of it we're looking at right now because we're doing ads now. So we're more talking about the side of the audience research. It's crucial audience research. So if you, for instance, now we have this client and she's into sales. She's running her workshop for sales. So she's targeting sales professionals, business owners, people who want to learn how to navigate the online space, the new online space with sales. How do they leverage that? How do they create better sales systems and processes for their teams? Now, that's the research we want because that's information that we are then going to take and plug it back into our ad. So we last lecture we edited the ad and we analyzed and we edited it and it's back in review to be approved again. Today in this lecture, we're going to talk about how do we research, how do we get the information that we need to find about our audience. So the first thing you would do is you go to Facebook groups. Now, people who are business owners, people who are people who are looking for help with their sales, for people to train their salespeople. It's a highly much more effective use of your time because it's a small business and people tend to buy from people they know, like, and trust. And you're not a big established business if you are not the social media manager or specialist for a big established business, and it's just a little small company that's trying to get their name out there, then you have to start suggesting the smaller, more personal methods of getting your name out there so people can purchase from your client. People can utilize whatever services or um, business that this client is putting out there, or product that this client is putting out there for people to purchase. Because the bottom line is, in order for you to make money, your client has to make money or to keep making money. Because if you are marketing and your client is not seeing the measurable results that far outweigh what they're paying you, then it won't make sense to continue paying you, because you're going to now be an expense. So you have to make sure that when you're marketing, you can give quantifiable results. So say, hey, we ran this ad for you. It costs you $45 for the ad plus my services, right? And you made X amount of money from this ad. So therefore, the client can now say, okay, every time we run ads, we make some money. The money covers what I pay you and covers, what I'm doing, and everything is good. They keep going. If after a while it's no results, they're not going to keep going, because it's going to now be an expense. So you have to keep going back in, researching their audience, and all of that. So let's hear this example that they're telling us. Imagine you own a coffee shop. One day, while you're making a latte behind the counter, you overhear two customers in line talk about your food selection. One says, I love the pastries here, especially the croissants. Yeah, the croissants are great. The other one replies, but I'm not too crazy about cookies. Way too dry. You begin to wonder, does everyone feel this way about the cookies? Yeah, so that's like social listening, because imagine people were having this conversation online. It's the same thing, except imagine they're having this conversation online. So now you can see, as a social media manager, a lot of people are saying the cookies are too dry. Maybe you need to fix that. Maybe you need to find out more. How many are more people saying this or not? Should we launch a poll to find out on our social media channels? And so on and so forth. Get people involved. This is how you bring them in, right? So you start to ask around, you hear other opinions about your coffee shop, you start to listen. Based on what you hear, you start to make changes that people like. Exactly. So your job now is to go into these groups that are your target audience, your client's target audience. Search up what would they be looking for. What do they like in a coffee shop? What do you look for in a coffee shop? Stuff like that. And then take it from there to get more specific stuff. That's called social listening. So you're going to use Google to search for that stuff. You're going to be using Facebook groups to search for that stuff. You're going to be using Instagram. You're going to be using Twitter. And you're just going to look around, see what people are talking about, coffee shops, what they like, what they don't like, and all these things. And if you can find people talking about the coffee shop that your client owns, even a plus, because this is specifically related to your client and something that they definitely would need to listen to. And as they say, it works. Your customers are lining out the door to get a hold of your new cookies. That's because you just employed a tried and true method for brands to engage with their customers and give them what they love. And this is called social listening. All right. So if you're not using social listening, you're leaving a lot of great insights on the table. All right. So that's basically a brilliant article that summed it up perfectly with this example. It gave you a real life scenario, but how it works online is you Google pastries at so and so, you Facebook pastries at so and so, and see what comes up. And then from there, you can find threads, you can find conversations, you can find posts people are making. What are they saying in those posts? When people comment and say, hey, people nowadays, they love to take pictures of their meals, and somebody go to a coffee shop and they get their nice little coffee in their cup. They get their nice little donut or their croissant or whatever it is they're getting, and it's all looks presented nicely, and they might be working or not, and they take a picture and say morning coffee or whatever caption they would like to attach to that post. They might hashtag the coffee shop. They might even tag the coffee shop if you're company that you're working for, their pages are taggable, but they might even tag them. And so that's an opportunity now for you to listen. What are people saying in the comments? Hey, you, what do you think of their coffee? Oh, I don't like this because it's kind of have this little thing about it, or whatever. And then you might see other people comment and ask them, something, or looks great, looks lovely, looks scrumptious, looks delicious. How do you like it? And you can hear what their response is. So chances are they may get comments under these posts, and this is the comment section is where you're now going to read through, look what they're saying, and be able to put forward useful insights. Now, how you would do that now is to take screenshots of all this and put them in customer conversations. And when you are doing your presentation to your client, you'll have a bullet list of all the stuff you noted from all the conversations that you'll cover, but you'll have the conversations themselves as backup proof that this is what happened. So when you give this to your client, they can cross-reference where you saw these in the comments, where people actually said these, and they can just take the bullet points and say, okay, let's try to work on these. And once they change these or improve these, and you as a social media manager can say, oh, great news, our cookies, we're trying a new recipe for our cookies. First 10 customers that come in together get a free sample or a free trial, and so on. And you get people in, get their opinions, and then you can say, oh, everybody can say, oh, please feel free to like, share, and comment. Please feel free to tag us and let us know what you think, and so on. And then people will come in and get people talking about the brand. As a social media manager, that's your job. And once that happens, the sales will start coming in, and you will be a valuable asset to your client. This is how social listening works. That's why we always have to review, go back in and change. What is the result saying? Okay, let's optimize based on the results. Okay, come back and social listen. Go, so for this client, I'd probably go into some business groups and find out what are people's problems with sales and how my client can help address their pain points. So when she's writing the copy for her ads, she can appeal to the people who need her services. So that's pretty much it. The lesson on social listening. If we do some social listening, that's pretty much what it is. All right. So you go to some groups, you go listen to what people are saying, and analyze and see what that looks like. All right. So if I was a travel agent and I wanted to know where people want to travel to, what are people saying at these travel destinations, what are their concerns. You would go to different travel groups, you would go to countries that people want to travel to, because they likely would be joining these groups about these countries, and you can hear their concerns. Oh, I want to visit Jamaica, but the restrictions are now this, and this. How do I get around this? Do we still have to quarantine for 24 hours? For 2 weeks? Do we still have to do this? And people are asking a lot of questions, and a lot of people are answering, and you get to hear and see what people are saying about travel, so that when you are crafting something, you can give people all the information they need. So, we'll answer all your questions. We'll also provide the COVID testing. You'll get your room, your board, everything is included in the package. I mean, there's so many ways you can retail stuff, but proper social listening is how you go about it. All right. So that's social listening, and that's how you do social listening. It's quite simple, it's quite easy. Like I said, for example, we're now on Facebook. I go to the Facebook search. Say people who want to travel to Negril. All right, people who they call Negril the capital of casual. I know, because this is a group, right? So capital of casual Negril. So in this group, if you are a member of this group, right, it's all about please do not post crimes or negative content of any kind. Please no politics or religion discussions. This board nor its admin make or accept any, they don't accept any advertising or activities sponsored by this group. This is a volunteer community service board only. Right now in this group they have 16,000 400 members right here, right? There's 65 new posts per day, right? And it says positive rule. The group rules is please post only positive Jamaica related content on this site, right? So basically, if you are in this group, you join all the groups. If you want to know about your tourists that are traveling to Jamaica, what are they saying in these discussion boards, then you would go to these groups, join them, and read what the questions are being asked. There's also a search function in the group that you can just type in the search what you want to know and see if any posts come up about people talking about that and discussing that. And therefore, if you type in COVID-19 or anything COVID, I'm guaranteed thousands of posts are going to come up that are going to talk about from the early onset to the latest questions and queries, what people are asking, what people are saying, and what people are discussing. All right, so that's how we go about doing our social listening. You join places where you know your target market are going to be talking. You find out what they're talking about, what are their pain points, what are their concerns, how can you help them fix these concerns, and that's what you address when you're doing these ads. Right, your ads help you talk to your target audience so that they know that once they click on your product or service, it's going to help them in a tremendous way. All right, it's going to solve their problems, and that's what causes people to purchase. It's solving some problem for them. All right, and that should be your driver. Now that's it for our social listening lesson. Let's get on to the next lecture.